Hey everybody, and welcome back. As you know, my name is Winn Hardin. I'm with Manufacturing Matters, and today I'm lucky enough to be here with Will Morgan, Director of Product Management at Cardinal Kinetic, and next to him is Jim McNicholas, Director of Business Development. Will, Jim, it's a real pleasure to join me. I appreciate you being with me today.
Great to be
Thanks.
here. Yep.
Jim, you want to kick us off? Tell us a little bit about Cardinal Kinetic?
Absolutely, absolutely. So we are located and headquartered in Kentucky,
Uh-huh.
right outside of Cincinnati, and we've enjoyed a number of years now. A fairly young company, but
Yes,
we're
sir.
partnered and sister company with Pulse Roller, which has been a long time success in material handling industry. And we've created some innovations and some new ways of doing motion control that yeah, a bunch of folks that have seen these solutions have said, "Wow, what took so long?" Right? You
Yeah.
know, because motion control has been classically kind of a mystery, kind of overly complex, maybe not for good reason. And so our design team and our corporate mission has been to solve that problem and bring motion control, make it accessible to any technical person that wants to automate and improve their operations.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
So, Will, I think InoWorx, your new motion control platform, is the big news at Cardinal this week. Is that correct?
Yeah, I think that's correct. It's basically we've tried to simplify all the aspects of motion control from, as Jim mentioned, the architecture fragmented between PLCs and drives and networks, I/O. All of that's been collapsed into one drive, and then the InoWorx Programmer is a easy to use programming software that really simplifies the implementation of it.
Can you, I don't know, I'm going to throw this up to either one of you guys. So how does InnoWorks accomplish this? I mean, normally you've got PLC programming, you've got a lot of wiring, you've got 508 panels, you've got a lot of things going on,
Yeah.
not to mention the actuators themselves.
Yeah.
So if you could tell us a little bit more about how InnoWorks is simplifying that.
Yeah, I guess I'll kick it off. So yeah, InnoWorks represents a hardware and software platform, if you will.
Right?
In fact, the hardware is fairly straightforward, kind of
Okay.
right in front of us. This we call an InoDrive,
Yeah.
and that product, like you had mentioned, there's normally a lot of different kind of complex components with a motion control system.
Hmm.
And what we've said is, hey, why not make an all-in-one kind of package where it's fully programmable in an easy fashion? In this case, it's a graphical drag and drop type environment for doing motion control, which is pretty much a first. To have a distributed field mounted device such as this that kind of accomplishes much of what these other components, would have been brought to.
Yeah.
What this does is basically says, hey, here's a nice field mounted certified package. It brings all the right items that you'd need for a full solution in a sense that's right at the task at hand at the machine
Uh-huh.
that we're trying to, we've got the IO, we've got Ethernet, we've got safety, so we've got programmability. It's kind of all wrapped up in a nice package.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So, Will, would you say that this is for people who are maybe adopting their first motion control solution, or who's the ideal customer for this?
Yeah, that's a really good question. So we've got kind of two really good customer sets. One is somebody who is already kind of in the low voltage, maybe MDR with our sister company Pulse Roller. This fits into that low voltage architecture, the distributed I/O, everything like what they're used to. And actually, our demo at our booth actually demonstrates really well how well those two product lines work together.
Right.
And then the other is really end users, what we would call them. So you've got a manufacturing facility, you've got a machine where the bones are good, but the software is outdated and the company's long gone. But you want to make that machine work. This allows somebody to know what the end state is and then utilize our product to easily get there without a whole bunch of PLC technical expertise.
And I'm going to guess that the retrofit also gives maybe greater precision, brings a lot of different benefits without having to do a giant capex, replacement of lines or production equipment. Is that a fair statement?
Yeah, that is a fair statement. This we are able to understand based on how many motors you have, kind of what your cost is going to be up front because you know how many drives you're going to buy, you
Right.
know how many the motors, how many end effectors that you're going to need, and from there the implementation because it's in house can be a little bit more straightforward. And we have a lot of resources to help a new engineer get kickstarted off on their first project
Okay.
on the
Mhm.
right foot.
That's good because I mean, especially when folks are getting their toes into automation for the first time or taking it up to the next level. I think having a consultative partner nearby who can help guide you through the pitfalls is super critical. Jim, what type of applications do you envision InoWorx is really the sweet spot for?
Well, so I have to mention Pulse Roller because
Please.
they've been successful, it's just a company, very successful in material handling, product flow, cartons and such in large distribution centers.
Mm-hmm.
And the key there was distributing the smart technology out on the machines. So you have smart Ethernet devices throughout a large system, and it just simplifies the system greatly versus custom designed panels. And where Cardinal Kinetic comes along and where we augment all that is that there are various operations in these material handling systems that just require something a little more complex from a motion standpoint. There might be more power needed, which these are quite powerful devices, almost 1 kW, which is quite
Wow.
a powerful little device.
Yeah.
And, you know, so material handling is certainly an obvious one. There's merging, that's high-speed merging and gapping of products, diverting products. A lot of these things go a little beyond the pulse roller products into a world where you just need speed, precision, power. And so that's a very obvious one for us. But, you know, outside of material handling, there's just about any automation in a facility. There's linear actuators, there's rotating machines where you want to index parts into precise positions, you know, pick and place robotics, XYZ robots.
Yep.
These are ideal devices to handle that. And we've got beautiful function blocks in this graphical environment to actually kind of pre-built those applications for the user. So you know, we've managed to bring that to the engineer or even just a technical person. You don't have to be rocket scientist to do motion control anymore with the InoDrive. Yeah,
That's good
yeah,
because we have a dearth of engineers out there, and a
yeah,
lot of manufacturers who need that kind of assistance for sure.
yeah.
Will, you mentioned, both of you guys have mentioned pulse roller a number of times. Conveyors, powerful player, been in the industry a long time. Obviously, because of your relationship, I'm going to guess there's a tight integration. I'd love to hear more about that,
Mhm.
about how you would apply that to existing pulse roller infrastructure. But do you also, I mean, I'm assuming that you're actually compatible with virtually any conveyance system. And is that a true
Yeah,
statement?
that's accurate. So right now in our booth, I mentioned that we show that integration. It's the technically it's over Modbus TCP, standard protocol. A lot of people understand. Interestingly, we also can integrate really well with PC-based systems with JavaScript and Python APIs,
Right.
which is a little bit different in industry. But specifically with Pulse Roller, it's we kind of have a cool integration where we have two different styles of integration in our booth. One is where the packages get handed off from a pulse roller transport conveyor to a InoDrive conveyor that needs more power. And then halfway through, you see a lift where you actually have two InoDrives electronically geared together, lifting and lowering a platform with a pulse roller zone on it. So it's kind of one style has a handoff where the package gets handed off, and the other style has kind of a auxiliary movement instead of a handoff where it's moving the whole system. So it's
Cool.
pretty flexible in integration, but yeah, technically it's happening over Modbus TCP.
And what booth can folks see that in today?
1231 in the south section. Yep.
1231 in the south section. Visit people. Fantastic. So, Jim, we'll come back to you. How do you know when an application is maybe better suited for InnoWorx versus the standard MDR?
Well, so MDR, I mean, it's a wonderful product for general transportation, for flow control. There's a lot of intelligence in these devices that manage flow through these material handling systems, since we're speaking of that.
Yeah.
But there comes a point where there's certain operations that you just need the extra speed and precision that a motion controller or a servo would bring. And so that's kind of where we play. Now, you'll see the packaging of it is very similar to the pulse roller product. So we can augment a pulse roller based conveyor system really nicely. It's all low voltage stuff, so it's easily implemented.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, it even networks together with the pulse roller product. So you know, it's whenever you really need that extra power, speed, precision, positioning,
Yeah.
that just goes a little beyond what the pulse roller products are designed for. Yeah.
Okay. All right. I get
Yeah.
you. Now, if someone wants to upgrade to the InnoWorx platform, they don't have to go in and rip out all existing IO network systems, PLCs. You want to talk a little bit about how you're able to play nice with the legacy systems?
Sure. Sure. Will, you want to cover
Yeah,
that?
no. So again, the way that we interface right now with PLC systems is via Modbus TCP. The architecture idea with this is that this is kind of a modular system that handles the motion control. So all of the I/O, the networking, and everything becomes kind of a standalone system, and then we can interface where, if you had a PLC based system, you say, all right, I need you to do this action or this action, and kind of hand off the logic to this closed loop system that keeps it kind of keeps it within ours.
Yeah.
Uh, but yeah, that's kind of that. But yeah, that's kind of the concepts. And again, it doesn't necessarily need a PLC system because it is designed to be standalone,
Right.
or interface.
Gotcha. And when was InoWorx initially released or recently released?
Uh, I'm going to say 4 years. It's evolved about 4
Okay.
years ago.
About 4
Yeah.
years. Okay.
Yep.
So can you give us an example of how InoWorx really helped change the operations or performance of a client, maybe a recent deployment you guys did?
Wow. There's a number of things come to mind. One of which, and it's outside of the material handling, conveying stuff we've just talked about.
Yes, sir.
But we do lots of other applications extremely well, of course. So one of the ones that comes to mind is a sewing application. Ironically,
Okay.
textiles have some high-speed sewing, and that's
There's actually a lot of that growth in North America, especially in the rug space and the carpets that I know I've been reading about. A lot of people have been targeting that.
Yeah. We've I've got a couple different clients that love the first implementation, led to the second.
Right
They
on.
saw what we were doing. It's like, oh my gosh, it's a perfect solution for automation of sewing.
Yep.
There's a saw system we did recently where components that are used in construction industry, doors, window frames, and such,
Yep.
need certain punch, locations. They need some grinding edges. They need to fit, and we came along with some InoDrives and servo motors, and the customers were just tickled that they could implement an automation system like this without the custom designs and the sophisticated or overly seasoned engineers. They use their own technical people with
Right.
some guidance from us. We have a great support staff.
Yeah.
We're US based here, and we get on the phone, we write a little construct a little program, get them started, and they've just loved it, and it works wonderfully. So just a couple of so many to think about. Yeah.
If I could follow up on that deep on those particular examples, as well as the general customer base, do you find that people are adopting automation to add capacity as the primary driver, or because they're having difficulty filling the positions from in the workforce?
Well, difficulty filling positions, or just streamlining their staff, right? I mean,
Right.
there's cost associated with carrying a staff. So even if you
Yes,
could,
there is.
yeah, right. And
We don't work for free.
right,
It's like,
right. So yeah, no, this is really putting the power of automation and servo and motion control in anyone's hands. It's no longer just the most seasoned controls engineer. Now it's even a technician that's on the factory floor. It could be part of a maintenance staff, even, and it's accessible. That kind of our whole concept of motion control simplified is making it accessible to any
right on.
technical person that wants to automate, wants to speed up an operation. Of course, there's cost reduction when you speed, and your yield goes up when your quality of your products is better.
Yes.
And you can do it with a minimal staff these days, and I think we're a perfect example of that. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I know we're getting close to the end of our time today. Is there something that you see at Cardinal, either on your product roadmap, some interesting market developments, like logistics has been driving so much of us the last several years? Is that still the hot spot for Cardinal as you move InoWorx in?
Interesting.
What excites you?
It's a little different than your question. What I find, and Will can comment too, is that the younger generation of technical people, and my son just graduated mechanical engineering school. They're no longer buried with heavy laptops with lots of stuff. They're Chromebooks. They're online. They're
Yep.
doing web type development. They're using small Raspberry Pis, Arduinos, and they're very smart, and they're the way of the future really is to distribute your concepts, have a nice device that's open architecture, and so the excitement for me is seeing sort of the eyes open and the excitement of say younger generation of technical
Absolutely.
engineering people that are coming up, and they come to our booth, and you could tell that we're really resonating with the younger crowd, and
That's great.
and, you know, the seasoned guys too. There's a lot that we offer here, but I think the real excitement comes from the future generation, so to speak. Yeah.
Hey, we've got to meet that culture if we want to excite them to work for our companies. I know we're out of time. Will, Jim, thank you so much for
Thank
joining
you so
today.
much.
It's really a pleasure.
Real pleasure.
Thank you.
You guys have a great trip this week.
Thank you.
Thanks.